Headstones, Moist, and Sloan have canceled their Saints and Sinners tour that was going to be going across Canada, along with the Tea Party on that bill as well, featuring, these guys are some of Canada's biggest 90s bands. And it was delayed due to the pandemic. It's been canceled altogether, with the band citing COVID-19 restrictions and roadblocks as a reason to cancel the tour, which, it's so annoying, Dave. Once again, COVID-19 has put a stop to the rock. So I'm pretty bummed out. I didn't really want to go to the tour. I wasn't going to buy a ticket, but I'm bummed for the people that were going to go. It's a solid lineup of 90s Canadian bands. And I'm just disappointed that COVID has claimed another victim yet again, when we thought we were getting back to rock, and then the rug has been pulled out from under us.
Yeah, man, it's very disappointing. I think I was going to go to that show. So, it's just another hurdle, another speed bump on the recovery back to live music. All those bands, the thing is that if you're in these areas that these bands are from, you're gonna get to see these bands. It's not like it's not gonna be impossible for you to see them. So it sucks for the tours, for the bands. It just really shows the impact of the pandemic's having on live music, and it's getting really out of hand. And we know firsthand, because we play in a band that we're not quite sure how to handle shows. We're not quite sure when we're going to start playing live again. There's a lot of up in the air questions right now for the musician out there. So I don't know. There's, it's a sad situation right now, and it's a shame that these bands couldn't do something like this and make it work. But this pandemic's thrown us all for a loop, and this is the second year in a row they've had to cancel it. So hopefully they get to do something else, but it is truly disappointing, because it's a sign of what's actually happening in the industry right now.
Yeah, it's hard to make that call, because some bands are continuing with their tours. Weezer, Green Day, Fall Out Boy, even though they had a COVID case and they had to cancel some of their shows on the Hella Mega tour, that tour in the US has largely continued. There are lots of bands on the road, but then there are other bands who are being extra cautious. Every day you keep reading that bands are canceling their tours. Nine Inch Nails just canceled the tour. They just canceled the Saints and Sinners tour. And other bands are touring. Mammoth WVH, I think they had a COVID case on their crew or in the band as well. So it's just so hard. Foo Fighters are on the road right now. It's so hard to decide what the right call is, because you want everybody to be safe, but at the same time, it's so frustrating, because for those of us who got vaccinated, and for those of us who've been trying to do our best to stick to the restrictions and the guidelines, we just want to get back to normal. And we were kind of sold a false bill of goods that all this stuff would lead back to some sort of normalcy. And it has in some ways, because there are bands on the road. There are festivals happening. Lollapalooza happened in Chicago earlier this month, and they said there were hardly any COVID cases that came out of that. So it's a hard call to make. And I suppose it just depends on the band. It depends on the tour. It depends on the itinerary that they have planned out, and whether they feel that they can execute that. But I'm super disappointed, because this was a solid bill. Like you said, they had to cancel it a couple of times, and now they got to pull the plug on the whole thing. And it's just super disappointed. And I hope that going into the fall, that it's not as dire as they say it's going to be.
Yeah, man, I hope so too. It's if everybody's doing their part and everybody gets vaccinated, hopefully we don't reach into another spike and with the numbers and stuff. I don't know. It is frustrating, because there's so many bands that are out on the road right now that it's not affecting, like you said. And I think that comes down to budget too. If you have the budget where you can have rapid tests on site, and the staff to check vaccine validation and or negative tests, if you can afford to have that kind of thing. But when you're talking about our band that plays clubs and bars, it's really tough to who's fronting the bill for this. We're already barely scraping by. So it's a very tricky situation. And you throw in the something that we've been talking about a little bit too, is that the insurance companies now in big cities have gone up. The cost of liability for bars and restaurants right now is through the roof because of COVID.
Right.
So, there's becoming more or less and less places for us to actually put on shows legally and, and safely. So it's a messy world right now, and we're just, we're just writing music and waiting for the storm to settle, I think.
Yeah,
So,
for
but
sure.
yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird time, very weird time in our business,
Yeah, and thankfully we were finally able to get together. We had our first jam with our band Foolish
Yeah.
Union last week. The four of us finally got together in a room and started
Yep.
playing some songs. And as we said it before, it just felt so good to actually be doing what we love to do most, which is playing music together. So that was awesome, and hopefully things will continue on a upward trajectory and things stay positive. So we'll see how
Totally.
things go this fall. But the Saints the Saints and Sinners tour is not happening.